Well, good evening, everybody. Yes, it is your local neighborhood Nick, and I am here again on a Tuesday night. A little bit later than normal. We're getting a later start tonight, but that's okay because we got plenty for you tonight. Again, as always, it is Tuesday night. It is time for Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. And as always, we are short one, but I'm never alone. We are missing Delilah this week, so we will see her again next week. But Delilah has the week off. But of course, our other two fabulous co-hosts are here. Miss Tina Winter. Tina, how are you on this fine Tuesday?
Oh, I'm really good. Quarter's over. It's time to start the fourth. Lots of football. All of us had good games this week. Let's go.
All right. Nothing better than that. I think you eloquently stated exactly how you feel, and I kind of feel the same way. It's great. My quarter's not over, though. Well, my baseball season's over, so on to football, right? It's all football now from here on out. Mr. Handy, how about you, sir? How are you on this fine Tuesday?
Well, I was hungry until about 3 seconds before the show started. So since we got a little bit of a late start, I took advantage, choked down a burger. The weekend was great. It's been me and the Luna girl because the missus is out of town, and I did the weekend. I did the football game Friday. I did karaoke Friday night. I did karaoke Saturday night, and then Sunday I did nothing. So that's cool. And so I'm here. I'm doing well.
All right.
Oh, I'm very happy to be here.
And there it is. And now we could start with that. No, but yes, as always, again, we're glad that you're joining us on this fine Tuesday. Me, Handy, and Tina plan to entertain you and bring you the football like we always do. But as always, we got to get started, and that always starts with a coin toss. All righty. Well, as some of you have probably heard by now, because it's been the big story all day in the NFL, we have a coaching change. Robert Saleh of the New York Football Jets has been fired. Woody Johnson, and I do want to read this statement because I do want to. I do want to get into this.
Wait a minute.
Wait, what happened, Andy? What happened?
His first name is Woody.
His first name is Woody. That is correct.
His last name is Johnson.
Yes, that was not lost on me, but I'm glad you picked up on that. Right.
But I'm 12 years old.
I knew that's exactly where he was going.
No, right. I mean, Woody Johnson. It sounds about, It's, okay, Anthony's still cracking up. I told you, folks, you never know what you're going to get on this show, and that's exactly right.
We lost him in the background.
There it is. We lost him. But I do. I mean, it was a little bit of a shock being that it's only week 5 of this young football season. But I do want to read the statement from Woody Johnson on his reasoning and what he said about the firing of Robert Saleh. He said, "This morning, I informed Robert Saleh that he will no longer serve as the head coach of the Jets. I thanked him for his hard work these past 3.5 years and wished him and his family well moving forward. This was not an easy decision, but we are not where we should be given our expectations, and I believe now is the best time for us to move in a different direction. Jeff Ulbrich will serve as our interim head coach for the remainder of the season. He is a tough coach who has the respect of the coaches and players on this team. I believe he, along with the coaches on this staff, can get the most out of our talented team and attain the goals we have established this off season." So again, I'm trying not to read too much into this, but when I hear what he said in that last paragraph, it kind of sounds like Robert Saleh was not well respected or liked by his players possibly, and that he wanted a tough coach who had the respect of his coaches and players to come in there and resurrect this New York Jets season. So, Handy, we'll start with you, my friend. How do you feel about the firing of Robert Saleh today?
If I unmute myself, then you all be able to hear me, first of all. Number 2, it's been well known for a while that he's not nobody paid attention to that man. He kind of reminds me of like the middle school vice principal. Like you had the really tough principal, but the vice principal, everybody was like, "Man, shut up. We don't nobody pay you no mind." That's kind of how he was, man. And obviously, based on what the product. Listen, anytime you're so bad a coach that you make your diehard, lifelong lifelong diehardest fan quit. The dude, the fireman Bob or whatever his name was, used to wear the Jets hat.
Oh yeah.
He
Yeah.
quit. He said, "I'm no longer going to be the no longer going to do the thing at the games. You make your most diehard fan quit. You know you'd have messed up. So yeah, gotta go, gotta go. You know,
All right. Yeah. That's fair. I mean, again, we're going to get into this a little bit more because I have some other things I'd like to say on this topic. But Tina, I want to go ahead and get your initial opinion on Robert Saleh being fired today.
Because Aaron Rodgers wanted him gone. It's already come out that Saleh was going to fire Hackett. That was going to be his first move today. He was going to fire Hackett. Rodgers doesn't want to lose Hackett. Rodgers is the coach of that team, not Saleh. And Woody's not getting rid of Rodgers, not with the amount of money they paid for him. So Woody's going to do whatever Rodgers wants him to do at this point. That's my take on the whole situation.
No, I don't necessarily, and that's why I wanted to get into this a little bit because let's just go over Robert Saleh's pedigree as it was with his 4 years there. Obviously, he came over from San Francisco as a defensive coordinator in San Francisco. He came over for the head coaching job. He went 20-36 in his years there with only a .357 winning percentage. But really, those first few years, the Zach Wilson experiment didn't quite work. So you bring in, you're like, we got to change the offense. We got to do something spectacular. So they bring in Aaron Rodgers, Nathaniel Hackett, Tina's favorite offensive coordinator. And, he gets hurt 4 minutes into the season last year. So then you go back to Zach Wilson anyways and finish 7-10, right? So that doesn't work. So now you're going, okay, hey, we got this new season. Aaron's healthy. He's coming back. We still have Nathaniel Hackett. This is going to be fantastic. And you start off 2-3, and honestly, Aaron played terrible in a couple of those games. To me, this just stinks of, Robert, we know that you are not a good coach. We know that, maybe we're not playing as well as we could, but let's just throw that all on you and just fire you. Because, again, I understand he hasn't been that great of a coach. But also up until like last year when Breece Hall came in and you had Garrett Wilson and these guys where you had your defense. The defense has been good all year. But you've had really a tough time on offense so far this year. You started 2-3. Probably, could have ended up winning that Minnesota game this past Sunday, but you didn't. That's fine. But yeah, I got to think that Tina said, and I didn't even know that report that Tina just quoted. Like, I didn't read that. But this stinks of, Aaron Rodgers, like you said, is the guy in New York because you brought him in. He brings in his own offensive coordinator because for whatever reason, he likes the offense that guy runs, even though it hasn't really.
Friends. They're best friends.
Yeah, well, fine. You can be a best friend all you want, but your offense sucks, Nathaniel. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this so stinks so badly of Rodgers again, whether they're going to admit it or not, or it's out there or it isn't, or with the innuendo or whatever you think. But it just feels like this is another one of those Rodgers things where, like, everybody wants to listen to what is, even though he claims he was not told about this and he had no knowledge that even though he was contacted yesterday by the owner, it wasn't anything about Saleh being fired. So that Aaron didn't have any knowledge of that, which I find that extremely hard to believe. I think that's garbage. But again, sorry, let's move on. But it just, to me, I just feel like this stinks. And Tina, to your point, because you said this, so I'm going to let you go a little bit further because I know you got more to say. But honestly, the Jets now this year, you're 2-3. You got the defensive coordinator who has defense was playing well. Now as your head coach, what do you do? What do you do with this offense? What do you do because I feel like Aaron Rodgers is a little past his prime, and I don't know that he could really rebound that well to get this thing going again. What do you think, Tina?
Well, the thing is Aaron Rodgers is the coach of the offense. Hackett and his coaches cannot teach his offense to anyone. You need Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and Hackett designed the system together. So Aaron's the one that's going to have to teach. And so he's the one that's going to have to get there. And I don't know that this is a system that works in all situations. Garrett Wilson and Bryce Hall are really good, but there's something wrong. That offensive line, it's got a rookie right tackle right now. They got another guy that got injured during the game during our game. So the Jets on the offense are hurting. They're not good. You're right. Their defense is very good, but I just it I could see Sala getting fired later this year, but 5 weeks in, that just doesn't make any sense at all. That something else is going on there, and I think Aaron Rodgers could lie to his mother if there was something into it for him.
Sure.
Because I mean, he did some shady shit during 2020 and 2021 that he got caught doing, and he'll do what he needs to do in order to stay on top and stay relevant. So, I mean, we'll see what's going to happen. I mean,
plus they had that dust up on the sidelines, man. I think after that he made a phone call or sent a text message to the owners like either he's going tomorrow or I'm going tomorrow.
Or I'm going. He pulled a Tom Brady with Kraft.
Yeah.
That's a story I never really talked about, but it came out of Boston that like Tom Brady essentially told Kraft, I don't want anybody that's ever going to be able to replace me on this team. And so after Garoppolo left, then that's the reason why, even though Belichick wanted to train the successor to Brady for the Patriots, because we can all see what's happened, but Kraft sided with his multi-million-dollar face of the team, and I think that's what happened here. Woody is siding with Aaron Rodgers 100%. And going with him. Because that Jets team, if they don't make the playoffs this year, they're bleeped next year when it comes to the salary cap and they'll be losing people. So they were made for one. They had to make the Super Bowl in the next 2 years after they acquired Aaron Rodgers, and I think they may not get it. So
no, I'm with you.
Wrong.
Andy, I wanted to ask you. Good.
I said they may not. I don't think they will. I don't
think they will.
By the way, I have a couple of sources up in New York. We were able to get some extra footage of the dust up between Brady and Salah. Check this out.
Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Don't make me angry.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Did he turn right? I wanted to see the part where he turned green. Come on, no, that would have been great. No, but
well, that's awesome.
Oh my god, you have to love. Who doesn't like Bill Bixby in the '70s as the Incredible Hulk, right? You got to love that. I can see that totally. But see, that's my other thing, Handy. This is what I wanted to ask you because, Aaron, as much as they tailored the offense to him, it's his team, all that goofy stuff. I have complained a lot about this, and this is why I want to go to you with this, because we've talked about this too. Where were you? As much as you could say you didn't need the preseason to play because you blah, 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 where the hell were you to help guide this team? Because it's your team, right? They put everything in your hand, but you can't bother to play at all to try to get some timing down or whatever. I think it's affected. Give me your opinion on this, because I feel like that's totally affected how they've started this year, because the offense has sputtered a lot.
Are you referring to the quarterback?
Yes, I am, sir.
The guy that likes to go live in the huts in the off season and date Formula One drivers and things of that nature. That guy.
And ayahuasca or whatever that crap is called.
Ayahuasca. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I think that's
Gesundheit. Right.
I think right.
Bless you.
Oh,
yeah, exactly.
Man. Okay.
Exactly.
Nick,
one of those. Bless your heart.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I mean, he's that guy that even as much of a prima donna as we know Brady was, Brady would show up. Brady would practice. Brady would run well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This guy, but then too, let's also think about this. Brady has how many Lombardis?
7?
Right.
Where's my camera? I can read.
No, you're right. It's 7. because
Tampa Bay,
Montana had
baby.
6.
Right.
Yep.
Tampa Bay got
Montana
one.
had 6, and he wanted one more. He wanted to be
Yep.
the best.
And
And
he got
so,
it.
How many does Aaron Rodgers have? 2, 1, 2,
one.
1. Okay.
I was going to
Yeah.
give him the one finger salute, and I thought better of it because he's got one. But I'll leave that for another time.
He's got one. ONE. That's all he's got. And
Right,
he walks
one.
around here like he is the greatest thing since the invention of air.
1-4 in
He's got a
NFC
chip on
Championship
his
games.
shoulder.
1-4.
He's had a chip on his shoulder since he didn't get picked up and he dropped in the rankings and ended up going to Green Bay. And ever since then, it's been all about proving that he's the best there ever was and that he's the next Tom Brady or whatever it is. And I mean, I said it too earlier, like him not playing in the preseason, especially with a system that the coaches can't teach. And the most important part of that system is your quarterback. You not showing up isn't a good thing. But I mean, he's also not required to. So, I mean, there is that aspect to it.
Sure.
But that also shows you, kind of goes back to what he said in his statement. Like, the team just didn't respect him. I mean, didn't respect Saleh. If they did, Aaron would have been there. He would have been there playing and doing all of that. So, I mean, I do think Saleh did turn that defense around a lot when he came over. Like, the defense they have there is really good. It's just the offense.
Yeah, no, it is. The offense has
lacking.
sputtered mightily in this, in these 5 weeks so far, and the record shows that you're 2-3. So they pulled the trigger on the move, and now again, you got a interim head coach, and you've got, you still got Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers to try to pull this thing up by its bootstraps and not rely on the defense for the rest of the season. So, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of with Handy on saying that I really feel like my confidence in the Jets has not grown at all, and I'm kind of losing confidence in them to really make a serious playoff run. I just feel like there's too much there that's just not working. And again, you have to overcome that. And the one person, as Tina's pointed out 10 times, to overcome it all is Aaron Rodgers, the man himself, because again, this is his team. He is the offense. As Tina has stated emphatically this whole show so far, that's it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have nothing but just, I don't know. Again, I could go on this for hours. Let's not, because again, it'll be the Aaron Rodgers show, and I don't like giving that guy as much time as we give him anyways, but we had to talk about it. So let us, real quick, because there is a couple of things, there's a couple of other coaches who could be on the hot seat so far this year, and one of them, Handy, I'll go to you with this one. Brian Daboll in New York, the Giants. You invested all that money in Daniel Jones, and it's not quite paying off and all that good stuff. I mean, give me your opinion on this one. Brian Daboll in New York. Do we see him as the coach by the end of this year if this continues? What do you think?
Absolutely not. One thing about New Yorkers is, one thing, sports fans in general are impatient anyway, but it's especially in New York. It makes me kind of sad because this guy, look at what he just did just a couple of seasons ago. We were just talking about what a great job he did with the program and how Daniel Jones looked great and blah blah blah. And now flash forward a couple of years, Saquon is over in Philadelphia. They gave Danny Dimes a whole bunch of, instead of spreading the wealth around. Problem number one, they gave Danny Dimes way too much money. They had no money for Saquon. Saquon said, "Guess what?" Saquon said, "Guess what?" Excuse me. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Alrighty then.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You okay, sir? Right. You all right?
Yeah, I messed around and I probably should have not eaten so much before the thing. But Saquon said, over to Philadelphia, and now he's showing out. Honestly, I wasn't choking. I was just buying time to find that video clip. Okay, here we go. And now the wheels on the bus that used to go round and round are have fallen off the bus and are rolling down the street at a rate faster than the bus can actually get there. So I
Right.
don't, but we all know it does not matter how craptastically the players are playing. You can be the greatest coach in the world. Your players can be craptastic, not showing up for practice, showing up drunk, doing whatever. The person whose head flops down the steps from the guillotine first is always going to be the coach. Always.
Yep, that's true though. I mean, that is true. But again, I just feel like New York fans in general now, with what happened in New York, with the Jets and then with the Giants, are just like
They'll
New York
hook you
fans are probably
faster
just not
than
happy
3
at all.
seconds.
There you go.
They
There you
want
go.
you
Well,
gone.
Tina, I'll go to you, Nick. They do. I mean, they're they're definitely a fickle bunch, and I get it though that both teams are definitely underperforming, and I'd be kind of upset too. Tina, another coach that's on the hot seat is Nick Sirianni, I think, in Philadelphia. Why don't you give me your opinion on that one?
I mean, he has to be. I mean, they built that team for the past 2 years to make it one of the best teams in the league, and it looked like last year they were going to make another playoff run, and this year they look like hot garbage, even with Saquon.
Yeah.
So Jalen Hurts doesn't look good. They're not doing well. They're losing games they shouldn't be llosing, and
Right.
they're also. I'm gonna make the joke. I mean, because we all know, like, the security guard guy that used to be down on the midfield is not getting fired, though he should have been last year. So it's gonna have to be the head coach because,
Right.
I mean, if Philly fans are just as fickle as New York fans are when it comes to their sports.
No, Philly fans are more prone to get violent.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well,
and
yes.
And I hate to say it because New York fans are pretty obnoxious. Philly fans are more obnoxious than New York fans.
Right, there you go, exactly.
I was at a Bears game against Philly, and let me tell you, I kept saying I'm a Bronco fan just so they'd leave me alone.
Right. I don't even like the Bears. What do you mean? Stop yelling at me. I love Denver.
My friend's a Browns fan telling them all to shut up. They're from Philly. They have nothing to talk about.
That's hilarious.
They almost got killed at that game.
That is funny.
So,
that is funny.
But yeah, in that case, I agree. It is always the head coach. The head coach is where you're going to have to make your changes. Yeah. That's where the regime change happens.
Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure. Yeah, I wrote down Matt Eberflus because I'm still on the fence about Matt because I know people are excited about the defense and all that, but I'm still like, I don't know, Matthew. You got to show me something this year, buddy. I need to see more. I don't. I know Caleb's gonna.
Is it Shane?
What'd you say?
Is it him or is it Shane?
Well, that's the thing. Like I said, but my thing is that was everybody's excitement and kind of mine too. I thought, all right, Waldron's going to come in. Our offense is going to look different. We're going to do things different. And really, have we? I mean, yes, I know we broke out against the Panthers, and I got excited for a little bit. I was actually working the game, so I didn't get to watch all of it. I got clips of stuff. But, I don't want to get excited about that game because it's one game and it was against a team that wasn't starting their 2 middle linebackers and their defense just looked horrid. We ran right through them. So I don't want to just, all of a sudden, we're on the upswing, we're back. No, I don't want to do that yet. Like I said, the verdict is still out for me. I mean, I'm hoping that they can really turn this around and make this offense great and finish, really strong these last few games before the bye week that we have because that's when our schedule really takes the turn. We play all 6 games against our division opponents in that second half of our schedule. We get the 49ers, who by that time should have all of their players back. So, yeah, I'm still not convinced that, my Bears are going to have a great winning season, but I'm going to hold out hope, and I'll leave Matt Eberflus on the sidelines for now as far in terms of coaching change. But, yes, thank you guys all so much for sticking with us through that. We did want to talk that breaking news today and some possible other coaching changes. We're going to take a quick break. Enjoy this, and we'll be back in just a few. All righty then. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for sticking with us and coming back. We hope that you're enjoying your Tuesday evening. I know I am. But we're going to move on to our next, what has become a very popular segment on our show, and the lovely Tina Winter will now inform us on whatever it is that she has this week, because this segment I actually enjoy. It is called the Corner Office.
Okay.
Take it away,
This
Tina.
corner office. Yep. Normally I do my like top 3 list that I do, and what I have always known this, and I've just kind of like just played differently, is technically the top corners in the league aren't leading in terms of interceptions and all of that because they're shutdown corners. So what ends up happening is they don't really get thrown to very much. So I was going to ask Candy and Nick. I'm going to read you guys a list of names. I want you to tell me what these guys all have in common.
Okay.
We have Ron Bland, Jalen Ramsey, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Johnson, L'Jarius Sneed, Jair Alexander, Devin Witherspoon, Sauce Gardner, and Patrick Surtain II.
Okay. What do they all have in common, you say?
Yep.
They're all second and third year players.
They all play.
No,
They all play the foosball.
Yeah, they all. Okay, hold on.
I kind of said it in my opener. I alluded to it in my opener. They're all shutdown corners. These are all the number one corners on their teams.
Right.
And they have amazing stats. Like I got into this because yes, Patrick Surtain had an amazing game on Sunday, and I absolutely loved it. But they put a stat up, and it started making me think about it, like, because I always talk about like who has the most interceptions that week and everything. So it's not the top going forward. It's not going to be the top corners in the league. It's going to be the top second man corners of the league who are able to take advantage of the fact that people are throwing to them and not to their shutdown corner on the other side. So in the last 7 receivers Pat Surtain has played against, I got to pull up my notes. I had this on here and I should have had it up earlier. He's had against him, there have been 7 catches for 86 yards and 0 touchdowns. And that's against the last 7 top wide receivers in the league that he's played against, with Seattle, the Steelers, Jets, because Garrett Wilson is in there, all those guys. So it's just kind of funny. Like, I always talk about the top corners, but I'm missing a very large section of those cornerbacks that we don't hear a lot about unless they make the big, huge, massive plays and end up on the ESPN and those guys when they're doing their roundups. So I think going forward, I'm gonna probably tweak my numbers just a little bit. So, but it'll still be the top corners. It just might be a little bit looking at some other things, and maybe even might start. Nah, I won't do it because that would take away from Candy's little lovely rookie spotlight. I was gonna say like I could spotlight some rookie ones like I did Kool-Aid, but that's your segment, not mine. Back to you guys.
No, very good. But see that.
By all means, we can share alike. It's all right.
Share alike. No,
it's so funny because we get so caught up on like interceptions and tackles and who ran it back for a touchdown and everything. And that's the reason why Deron Bland, who is amazing, was able to get the stats he got last year. Was because the guy he was playing on the opposite side of the field was they weren't throwing to him anymore because he was shutting people down. So it's a weird statistic that I just kind of I was like, I want to kind of point this out. So, and by the way, Jalen Johnson is doing amazing. Like
I wanted to mention that. That's why I wanted to kind of add just a quick tag to what you were saying because Jalen Johnson has been so lights out this year on our defense that it's really given the other guys, like Stevenson on the other end, and then with bringing over Byard from the Byard this year, and then why I say of course I draw a blank now when I'm trying to think of everybody's name, but our secondary has been one of the best parts of our defense because those guys just go after the ball. But Johnson has definitely been the bright spot, and I mean our defense has just been really, 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 really good. We have allowed 21 points or less. Dating back to last year, I think it's 11 straight games we've given up 21 points or less. So that just shows our defense has been playing, and they've just steadily improved since last year and then into this year. So, but yeah, thank you for that, Tina. That's always again, I love that segment because defense is not talked about enough. If you ask me, it's an offensive league now, and they don't talk about the defense that much, and I like it. I love defense.
And I also have one more thing to say is if you guys want to see what I hope is the second coming of Jason Sehorn, Riley Moss, the second guy opposite of Patrick Surtain on our team, he's playing some pretty good ball. So you want to see, it's been a while since we've seen a Jason Sehorn as a corner player, but I mean,
that guy was great. And he dated Angie Harmon, or he married Angie Harmon. So how's that bad? Jason Sehorn was my hero. Like, come on.
I remember he was the corner I knew growing up. Well, that's also because I was in the middle of nowhere, and we got Steelers, Giants, and Packers, Bears, and Cowboys. That was it. So there was only so many players I knew growing up. So
for sure, no, for sure.
Yeah.
But let us move on. Thank you for that, Tina. It's time for our team recap, and again, our teams did some good things this weekend. We'll start with our guy Handy though, Mr. Handy. Your impression of your Falcons this weekend. Go ahead and give us what you got.
Kirk Cousins throws another touchdown. Falcons win. Kirk Cousins throws another touchdown. Falcons win. Kirk Cousins throws another touchdown. Falcons win. Mr. Fingers likes this. That's my impersonation.
Well, now we're doing third person, are we?
It was a great game.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
I mean,
I really enjoyed watching it.
All seriousness, I could not be more pleased with what I'm seeing out of Atlanta. Hey, who knew? Who knew? Who knew what we were going to get when we got? I mean, well, I know at least one person that's watching right now that would probably say, I knew when he was up in Minnesota wearing the icy chains. So, Mr. Cousins, you know what? I can admit when my thoughts were maybe not as accurate as I thought they would be. He has proven to be definitely a bonus for this team. That was one of the things. We had all this receiving talent, and we didn't have anybody to get the ball to him. And now that we've been able to do that, things have been going very smoothly. It's been very nice. Plus, Kirk Cousins is now he's now started to add he's really starting to step into this comeback kid role that he's been playing here, especially in Atlanta. I mean, we saw some of it in Washington. We saw a bit of it in Minnesota. We saw some of it in Minnesota, but the reason it's really standing out to me is because out of those three teams, Sean and I might have some argument over that, but Atlanta has really needed somebody that is going to be able to lead them back from a deficit, or if the opposing team goes up by a score late in the game, and he's proven that he can do that too. So, hey, what's the nickname you gave him? Kirk Coat Chains or whatever his name is, Mr. Cousins. We appreciate you. Make sure you stretch your ACL, your PCL, and your LL Cool J so you don't tear it no more. Okay, that's all I got.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, hello, Cool J. Hey, no rapper can rap quite like he can. Trust me. But
Anthony with the law, Nick with the da.
I try. I try. I do what I can, sir. I do what I can. Tina, your Broncos, give it to us.
Didn't look good in the beginning of the game, but then it got to a point where we scored 34 unanswered points against the Raiders. And we also got Gardner Minshew yanked out of the game halfway through it.
Yes.
And then they put in Aaron O'Connell, and it suddenly became Sack City. So, I mean, it was a good game. I mean, there's still some issues there. Bo's young. He's learning. Our run is not where it should be. Our defense really did win that game for us, and they've won the games for us the last 3 weeks. So we've got to it's gonna patience is what I keep telling myself. But it was a fun game to watch. I'm not gonna lie, especially when is the next and Thursday at 9 p.m. is when we do the show. So I'll be covering it with the guys, Gavin, Steve, and Todd will all be on the show. So we will discuss it in all its good, bad, and ugly as we normally do. And so that's a lot of fun for me. In that case, I get to be the one that's kind of hosting and steering the ship. So this one allows me to get a bit more out of how I really feel. But it was a great game. I enjoyed it. I would have enjoyed it even more if Franklin had caught that pass in the end zone. That was 65-yarders. So anybody that said that Bo Nix didn't have an arm, you're an idiot.
I could have told you that. I've watched him play.
I know.
Coming up. It's just that he didn't have an offensive line to block for him at that other school he played for until he went to the West Coast.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a young team. There's a couple of old schoolers, some older guys that I think are there just for a check right now. And then there's the young guys. The young guys they're in it to win it. And we stuck in it, and we got the interception by Pat Surtain when we needed it. And he ran it. It's the longest punt. It's the long interception return in the history of Denver Broncos. It was a 100-yard return for Pat Surtain. And there was another stat that put up there, and everybody's like, oh, but there's a lot of doubters. His stats are actually better than John Elway's his rookie year. So like, Bo's in good company right now. He just needs some time. Yep. And I'm sure everybody saw the sideline exchange between him and Sean. So
sure.
I don't think anything of it. It's heat of the moment. They're going to argue with each other. It happens. It actually, I think it shows a little gumption on part of Bo's side. So, I mean, we remember Drew and Sean used to fight all the time with each other. So
exactly. And look what happened with those two. They won a Super Bowl together, right? So there you go.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But yeah, I love the Ferris Bueller comment though. So now everybody's going to call Bo Nix Ferris Bueller. But the funnier one, I don't know if you guys saw this. There was a video of Max Crosby telling Bo to speak up. They don't effing hear you. And that thing is playing.
They don't know. Yeah. They don't know, Bo. They don't know.
That was so funny to me. That he's just yelling at him like, "Come on, Bo, speak up." They don't effing. That was. Cracking up.
Who was he saying it to? Like, was he? Because I mean, Max Crosby is a trash talker, no doubt about that.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Was he? But he could have been talking about his own team. Like, Bo, speak up. They don't know. They can't play. They don't know. They gotta know where you're going.
But it's just funny that he's yelling at him like, Bo's probably like, "Shut up, Crosby." Jeez, I can't hear myself think.
And he's like walking between, like he got in front of everybody else, and I'm like sitting there like, I thought you couldn't do that, but okay.
Yeah, no, I mean the refs allowed it. What are you gonna do, right?
Well, you also heard what he said this week. He said that if Devontae gets traded, he's throwing himself in for free.
Yeah. I don't blame him. I'll be honest. That's a sinking ship right now in Las Vegas, and your two best players are not happy. So I wouldn't doubt it if they both just left and went, "I'll just go. Like I don't even want to be here anymore." So that's a situation.
I never understood the Minshew decision, anyways, because
Yeah,
O'Connell played better during the preseason. So,
right.
um, but I, as it's said, the Chargers are going to charge and the Raiders are going to raid.
Raiders.
So,
That's true. But
first
yeah,
time we beat them in 8 games. So,
yeah, was it 8 games? Okay. Yeah.
4 years straight. Yep.
Wow, crazy. But my Bears got a victory on Sunday, which made me
Yep.
happy. It was nice to hear a lot of cheers in the stadium while I was working. I was like, ooh, something good happened. Because the place just erupts every time we score a touchdown. You hear the bear down music, so it's always great. I always know when a touchdown is scored. But of course, 36-10, we beat the Panthers. And again, I know it's the Panthers, but I did see some good things, the highlights of everything. We finally got the running game going, which we really desperately need to do that in general. So I do hope that's a precursor of things to come for DeAndre Swift, Roshan Johnson, who, I mean, I get it. There was one driver, literally DeAndre Swift did all the work, and we're on like the 2, and they give the ball to Roshan because he just powers forward for the touchdown. But he is the power back. Like, that's not DeAndre Swift's game. He's not the power guy. And I just feel like Roshan should be getting more looks every week because he's more the bruising guy. He's going to run through you. And we got DeAndre who can come out of the backfield, catch a pass. If he's got a nice hole, he can make a move and get free. But if you're talking about a bruiser, it's Roshan Johnson. I mean, Khalil's getting lost in the shuffle a little bit with all this, but still a great running back room that we have. And again, to see Caleb have his best game statistically with the 300 yards passing, a couple touchdowns, like this is what you want to see from him. This is what we wanted to see from him all along. So again, I know, forget it's still an NFL team. We beat the Panthers like we should have. 36-10 was the final. Let's move on. We got the London game Sunday, so we're on early, 8:30 a.m. here in Chicago. We got the Jaguars who are just sputtering out of control. That's a whole nother. You can do an entire show on just Jacksonville and where they've gone. But hopefully we can get another victory before heading into that important matchup with the Washington Commanders there before our bye week. But yeah, I won't talk too much on that again because I didn't see the game personally. I was working. So we are going to go on to our next segment then. We'll do this because it's a great segment and it's very informative and we love it. And it gives us a chance to see all of these young players and how they're doing. So we'll go to Mr. Handy, Mr. Fingers, whatever you want to call him, man of 1,000 impressions, the guy who drops flour on the steak and eats it, the guy, whatever you want to call him. But that's our guy, Handy. Handy
drops flour on the steak and then eats it.
Is that what I said? Because I might have.
You can believe it's going to be a clip.
Okay, see, I didn't even realize I said that. So there you go. That just shows you my mind is just working a mile a minute and something. I don't know.
Sorry.
But anyway, that's all right.
Know what that was.
Wait, you're trying to mute me already? Good Lord, I wouldn't even finish. What is going on? Right, what is going on here, ladies and gentlemen? Do you see? I'll tell you, I don't get no respect at all. Hey, Rodney. No, but let's go to Handy. Right, this is one of our favorite segments here. Also, it's time for the Rookie Spotlight.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hope everybody's doing okay. It's been a wonderful week. It was a great weekend of football. But today, I'm here today to tell you about an NFL rookie. Hence, of course, it being called the NFL Rookie Spotlight. But today's rookie comes to us by way of the great state of California on the West Coast. I know at least one person is going to throw their left hand up when actually that's my right hand, but when you look at it, it's on the left side of your screen, so it still counts. He's going to throw his left hand up when I call him out. Ladies and gentlemen, today's rookie is none other than last year's Heisman Trophy winner, Mr. Jaden Daniels. Like I said, comes by way of California, where he attended, K. Jones High School. And when I tell you this kid was a stud, I've called a lot of people studs that got so many studs, we should be able to just every 3 feet on the wall. Doop, doop, doop. Anyway, this guy was insane. This guy was a track star. He's a runner. He's a track star. He ran in the 100, the 200, the 400, the 4x100 meter relays. He also ran the hurdles. He also participated in the hurdles. But what this kid really did, football was his thing. Football was his thing, and he kept the main thing the main thing. By the time he graduated high school, he finished his high school career with 17,642 career yards, 14,000 of which was passing, and 3,600 of which was rushing. That is absolutely insano. Um, but he wound up going to Arizona State in his freshman year, and he wound up being there. He's the first freshman quarterback at start at Arizona State. He had a little knee injury. He had a knee injury during that time, and then due, of course, to COVID-19, they only played a small amount of games in the Pac-12. They only played 4. But he did wind up running up the scoreboard against the Arizona Wildcats, a score 70-7. He wound up transferring to LSU. They had some because, Arizona State had an NCAA investigation into some recruiting violations. So he took advantage of that, hit the portal, wound up at LSU. That is where most of the rest of us met Mr. Daniels, where he was just absolutely incredible as their quarterback that season. He did wind up tweaking himself a little bit. I'm pretty sure many of you remember the photo of Big Baby Davis just holding him up. Or was it Jalen Carter? I think it was Jalen Carter. He went to sack him, but instead of throwing him to the ground, he held him up because he knew his leg was hurt. And of course, pictures everywhere, and they did the whole thing with the Titanic, the parody of the Titanic. But he did wind up. They did not win the SEC championship. Georgia, of course, won that year, but he did wind up playing in the Citrus Bowl, where he wound up actually catching a touchdown pass. They wound up winning 63-7. As you know, he left LSU. He won the Heisman Trophy and went into the draft. And then, of course, if Sean Spencer was here right now, he'd say, and to those of you who doubted that sometimes all it takes is faith the size of, but that's what that clip was for. I was going to do that. Faith the size of a mustard seed in the race and yada, blah, blah. The second pick in the 2024 NFL draft, Mr. Jaden Daniels heard his name called. He walked across the stage. He said, "No, please do not be alarmed. I'm not going to start a Black Panther party. I'm just joining the Washington Commanders left hand up." Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot it's on this side if you guys are watching, unless you want to flip your screen around to make it accurate, but then you would be looking at the back of my head. So signed a deal for $37.75 million, fully guaranteed. Listen, I've been doing all this talking. I've been reading off these stats. Watch this kid play in the SEC. I tend to talk a little bit more about the SEC players because I see them play more. This, before he tweaked his leg, and even after he tweaked his leg that season, this kid was slicing and dicing like he was. I won't say he was a Patrick Mahomes type player, but he had that type of ability. And if he decided to tuck and run, and if he caught the secondary sleeping, if he caught the linebacker sleeping and they bit on a play action, he was going to tuck and run. And by the time they realized what was happening, he was running by him, chucking up the deuces like the cheetah. This kid is absolutely amazing. And if you don't believe me, I want you to think about this. The Washington Commanders are in first place in the NFC East right now as we speak. And I'm not saying that to say that the Commanders as a whole are not a good team, but we know that the Commanders have had their share of struggles. They had a couple of moments of euphoria, like the year that Brunell beat the Cowboys, I think twice that season, both on long bombs to that they call the best cross-eyed wide receiver in the league, Santana Moss. And of course, during that short-lived rookie season of Robert Griffin III, where it was, it just looked like he was going to take the league. He was going to take the league over, if not the league, at least the NFC East. This kid right here has got Washington fans believing. He's got Washington fans proud to say that they're Washington fans. And he ran for over 80 yards and 2 touchdowns in his NFL debut. So this kid is a phenomenal player. And as long as, what are those words that we like to say all the time? As long as he stays healthy, he will have a phenomenal season. And I think this new ownership group, that's another good thing, that he has a new ownership group as opposed to the old regime that will be willing to put whatever around him he needs to be successful. So, ladies and gentlemen, this week, your rookie of the week, Mr. Jayden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. I have been Mr. Fingers, and it has been a pleasure. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
Oh, well, there you go, Mr. Handy. Thank you very much for that. And, of course, we get Mr. Jayden Daniels, the Chicago Bears, doing a couple of weeks. I know Sean Spencer is already trying to psych me out with his, trying to shut me out. Yeah, we want Chicago. He's been talking. We talked earlier. He's been giving me all the crap already about it's almost game week. He's ignoring me or whatever. I got you. But, yes, I am a little scared of Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders right now, so that's definitely a game I'll have my eye on. Let us go ahead and take a quick break. So enjoy this. We thank you for sticking with us. We're glad you're watching with us. We'll be back in just a few. Thanks.
Crespo is going to be known for Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. Yeah. And Let's Talk Football, ladies.
All right, giggity.
Just a little shout out to our co-host who's not with us this evening, Mr. Lila Crespo. And this just in off the wire. I was asked to give this read. They did send us a substantial sum of money to have this audio read here. Ladies, gentlemen, have you ever had that not so fresh feeling? Wash your behind sometimes. That's it. That's the announcement. Okay.
Oh man, I tell you, what are you gonna do? Well, I mean, not that that's not good advice. You should wash your behind always, but I wasn't quite sure what you were going.
Controls.
Jeez, when you started with the ever have that not so fresh feeling, I wasn't sure where you were going. So I'm gonna, I was a little scared, a little weary of where that one was going. But all right, I get it. I get you. I got you. But you're killing me, Handy. You're killing me.
Tired of standing there, tired of sitting there working in the office across the hall from you, your office smelling like a supersized bag of Burger King onion rings when they used to use the whole onion.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Oh, but yeah, see, look, you're killing Tina, too. She's over there laughing. She can't control herself. The cat's probably looking at her like, what are you laughing at? So, I mean, come on. You got her going crazy over there.
Oh, he's asleep.
Oh, he's asleep. Too much excitement for him this evening. He's asleep already. Look at that. But, all right, so our next segment is a new one that I started doing this year. And that one is called Exit Stage Left. It's where every week I talk about either a player. We did do an owner. I did do Jerry Jones a couple weeks back. But this is a player who I just feel like, and normally, like, the first two were very, like, tongue-in-cheek, like, get the hell out of here. You guys are, bums or whatever. You should go. This one is probably a little more serious because I'm gonna tackle Tua Tagovailoa because I really feel like, everybody knows he's battling his third concussion. He had the 2 in 22. Now he had the third one here in the second week against Buffalo and the loss there. Was placed on IR. And obviously, so the earliest he could even return, I believe, is week 7. But I really think, and I'm hoping that the doctors really have this young man's best interest at heart when they're making these decisions, honestly. And I hope he kind of thinks about this too, because you just look at the hits that he's taken. And 3 concussions for anybody is a serious thing. But definitely for a football player who goes out there every week and takes hits like that and that sort of thing. And I really just feel like, man, you saw that last hit and, in an ironic twist, maybe because of the hard hit that took him out the year before, where poor guy almost died, he runs into DeMar Hamlin, of all people, and goes out again. Like, it's really just, yeah. I mean, Sean, I agree with you, and I was going to get to that point. Like, I really feel like, as much as I understand you're a competitor, and this is your life, sir. It's almost like I'm pleading with you. I'm not going to lie, for you to exit stage left, because I really just feel like you're still a young man. You could have a very great quality of life going forward. Again, it may be in another profession, but I just really feel like it's really after the third when you really ought to consider hanging it up. It is a dangerous game. We all know that. We all love it. We watch it every week. We've seen unfortunate things happen to people, but I really just feel like, they really need, and the coach said, McDaniel was like, we want to make sure that we're monitoring everything. We want to make sure he's absolutely healthy, if he's going to come back and all that. And I really just feel like take as much time as you need is the right answer here, because whatever he decides to do, whatever that is, whatever week he decides to come back or doesn't come back, that's probably going to be the most important decision of his life either way. So for this week, I'm going to say Mr. Tua Tagovailoa, please exit stage left, sir. Please exit stage left. So thank you for that. Join us again next week. I'll have another one. And again, it could be lighthearted. It could be serious. One never knows. That's why I love this show. Live, it's unpredictable. You never know what's going to happen. So we've come, as always, like Boyz II Men said, to the end of the road. But as we do have,
we're not singing it this week. I interrupted.
Well, we can only do a couple seconds. I don't want to get sued for copyright or anything. So you're allowed so much time. We got a lawyer in the house, so Tina might be able to help me with that if I did get sued. But no, everybody knows end of the road. No, I know, but it's okay. I like having a legal person represented, though, because at least if I have a question about something, I can go, Tina, can I get away with this? Can I do this? Help me out here. So I do like having a legal person on our team here. But one last thought this week. I thought it'd be a little fun. Halloween is coming up, boys and girls. Halloween for everyone. And I know we were all kids once, and even as adults, some of us are still kids. I'm talking to Handy and I. But let us go ahead. My question for everyone this week, I know, Tina liked that one, huh? Question this week for one last thought for you guys, and I'll answer as well. But Handy, we'll start with you, sir. What was you can get one or two, whatever you feel. What were some of your favorite Halloween costumes growing up that you went as for Halloween? Some of your favorite costumes.
Man, never had no Halloween costumes. We used to piece together whatever was on the. I mean, it wasn't an economical thing. Now, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you that. I'm not gonna be the guy that be like, my family was so poor. We used to boil dirt and use that for seasoning. No, there's nothing like that. It's just that, we all grew up in a time where you could get the Halloween costumes off the rack at the grocery store. So a lot of times I got like that day after school. Come on, we're gonna take you to the grocery store, get your Halloween costume with the half mask that would cut after about half an hour would cut the sides of your face and the little bitty hole, like a short hole for a mouth. You trick or treat. Yeah, I don't really remember having any great Halloween costumes.
Okay.
As a kid. Now, when I got a little older, I did do Blade one year.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Actually, I think that was the only one I ever really did that I really put some thought into. I did Blade, and that was it.
Okay, that's fair. But you did go trick-or-treating and stuff in your homemade costumes, right? You still went out and did your thing, right? Yeah.
Oh wait, I take that back. I did.
Okay.
I got a mask, and it was that same plastic. But some genius at the costume making company decided that it would be a good idea if they would cut so that the bottom part of the thing would move when you talked, and you kind of looked like how they draw the Canadians on South Park. But I was so proud of it was a robot. I take that back. I was a robot that year, and I just walked around going beep 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 beep, and then they were like, "That is so cool. The mouth moves." Yeah, that's it.
Oh, Handy. Oh no, I love it. He's like, hey, the mouth, and I'm done. Stop it. See, I don't want to say it like that, but I always wait. I always pause for a moment just in case you got something else coming out your mouth. And so that's why I always just hesitate for a second before I start talking again. So my apologies if it seemed like there was a little lag there. I was trying to allow enough time in case you had something else. That's all.
Basically, what Nick is saying is every time he thinks I'm finished, then I go like this.
Exactly. Hey, no Diddy. No Diddy. Just saying, no Diddy. But Tina, sorry, I know it's been one of those. Tina, let's go to you
What
next.
did he say? I got that
What
clip
did it?
somewhere. I couldn't find it.
No, okay. What about you? One or two or whatever of your favorite Halloween costumes growing up, or even as an adult, as it were.
Again, you got me laughing, so I can't talk. As a kid, well, my parents loved Halloween. Like, they had Halloween parties for their friends and everything every year. So I grew up in a household that was like, what are we going to do this year? My dad's idea of a Halloween costume was finding the scariest and ugliest mask he could find in the store and wearing that. Like, he had a troll mask that I swear was like 3.5 feet tall that he wore for like 10 years. As a kid, my mom made my costumes and stuff, and she made a costume out of a pattern that was an elephant, and it had the ears that stood up, it had the nose that came down, and she stuffed all of it, and she sewed a Planters peanut bag on the nose of it, and it was a fun costume. I couldn't see half the time because it was so heavy it would start to fall down, so I'd have to push back up. And then you get to be teenage, and it's like, oh, you do something silly and stupid.
Yeah.
But as an adult, I forget what her character was on Saturday Night Live, but it was the superstar.
Oh, Mary Catherine Gallagher.
Yes, I went as Mary Catherine Gallagher one year.
Nice.
I gotta tell you, I have never had so many people ask me about my underwear in a non-bedroom situation.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Okay,
here between the Catholic schoolgirl skirt and whatever, it was the strangest Halloween I'd ever been.
Now, see, folks, you never thought you'd hear about Tina's underwear on the show, did you? It just shows you never know what can happen here. Let me tell you.
I'm just people just walking on the street. Like, man, you have a weird fetish for Catholic schoolgirl uniforms. That's all I gotta say.
Well, okay. In all fairness, I'm not going to deny that because I dated a Catholic schoolgirl for 2 years in high school, and yes, it's just something about those outfits, and I'll leave it at that. We don't need to expound on that any further. Yeah, exactly. Well, that too. That's correct. But yeah, we're not. Yeah, this show will take on a whole new tune if we do that one. We're not going to go.
But I had a lot of fun with that costume. Like all of it, and I actually ended up taking third place in a costume thing. So
very nice.
That was one of my favorite ones. So
awesome. Yeah, I mean, I had a couple. Obviously, like, mostly when we were kids, our parents just bought our costumes. I remember, I think it was at least 2 or 3 years in a row, I went as Paul Stanley from Kiss. It was like the plastic whole body thing that tied in the back, and then you had the little mask that you put on. So I went as like Paul Stanley for like 3 years because I just was a big Kiss fan as a kid. I remember that vividly. But I think one of my other favorite ones, as a teenager, because as a teenager you think, I'm going to be cool. This is going to be. I went as if you're familiar with the movie The Warriors, I went as a baseball fury. Painted my face the half white, half black, the whole thing. Put the head, So that was a memorable one as well. I was about 17, thinking I was cool, walking around the neighborhood like that. But yeah, it's funny because as an adult, I haven't actually really dressed up too much as an adult that I can remember. Like you said, I may have thrown something together that kind of resembled a costume or something just to, have something. But I am now tasked with this year, I have to come up with a costume because I feel like if I show up without a costume, I'm going to look like a goof because everybody else will probably be dressed up and I won't be. So now I have to go searching for something, whatever it is. I'll try to figure out what I think I'll be, would look all right. But for the first time in years, I will be dressing up this year. So everybody look for that. I'll send pictures. But yeah, you're right, exactly.
You want to tell them why you have to?
Well, sure. I wasn't, that's fine. Yeah, again, I don't, but yes, I was invited.
I'm having a Halloween costume. I'm having a party, guys.
Right. I was invited by Tina to her. I mean, the fact that she's even going to let me in her apartment is something. But anyways, so I have to find a costume now because I don't want to be like the only person not dressed walking in this place. That's all I'm saying. Didn't they tell this guy it was a costume party? Right. I might be. You never know. I always feel like I'm gonna be like everybody else gets in the spirit of stuff, and I'm just like, walk in.
I'm just crazy about it. I do it every year. I have a costume. Yeah. I'm thinking about it a month ahead of time. I have to come up with 3 this year because I don't like wearing the same costume to every party.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, hey, take it easy there, Spencer. No, it wasn't like that. Yes. Never mind. The man of 2 faces. I'm a 2-face. No, but anyways,
that's an idea. You could do 2-face.
Oh, there you go. The Tommy Lee Jones one, or the other guy? What was his name?
Aaron.
Aaron Eckhart. Right. Yeah, Aaron Eckhart. Yeah. There you go. But yeah. So again, Halloween this year. Tina invited me to a party. I am going to go. So now I need a costume. But again, thank you folks so much for tuning in this week. Join us next week when all 4 of us should be here. We did miss Delata this week, but she'll be back next week. Give the applause, absolutely. But again, thank you for the comments. Thank you, Sean, for the comments that you all were watching. I hope you checked it out. If not, we will be putting the show up in case for those of you who missed it. I'll get a link to put on my Facebook page and put it up on the Let's Talk Football page we have on Facebook now. So you'll be able to catch the show if you weren't able to catch it live.
And he's stuck.
He entered the froze zone. No.
And he is coming back in. But while he's making his way back in, ladies and gentlemen, I think Nick was saying that he was going to put the link up for you all to watch it just in case you missed it. So I'm gonna hand it back to you, Nick.
Oh, are we still live?
We are.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the show had ended. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. No, I did. Yeah, no, I did because it went off for a minute and I was gone off the screen. So I'm like, okay, we're done. So I was sorry, my bad. But no, I was just simply saying, right. If you guys missed it, for anybody who might have missed the show, we do have a Facebook page on Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. You can't find it. It's up there. It's up there now, part of the Let's Talk Football family. We do have our own page now. So please like and follow us. That'd be great. We will be putting up the link for the show whenever we get a moment for everyone. So thank you so much for that. Again, we appreciate you guys commenting. Thank you, Sean, even though you're my mortal enemy for the next few weeks until the Commanders and Bears play. And again, we will have that up there so you guys can check out our show. And again, any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them on the Facebook page if you like. Let us know what you think. Give us your honest opinion, any of that good stuff. So one more time for Anthony Handy and Tina Winter, I'm Nick Rosario saying aloha and bye.
Sayonara.